Hi, this is the daily experience video, but I'm not gonna talk about today, but about the last season because I haven't posted a daily experience video for quite a long while. Um, as I said in the recent update video, I'm gonna have a retreat season, and the main reason behind it is that I feel this drawing, this call from God to just be with Him. And many times when I enter this rest, when I'm with Him, many times I leave this restful place for ridiculous reasons, and I feel like I'm busy and I have to do something, but I leave it after a while, after half an hour, after 2 hours, after whatever. And I really feel like God wants to have me there for a long time. And I really wish to have this season when I can allow Him that and give Him that. In the recent few years, I'm not about practices, but my practice has been this simple rest in the morning with God. So I have until lunch, I don't do anything unless it's necessary. And I just have sleep and then just spend time with God. Sometimes I sleep quite long, so I don't have that much time in the morning until lunch. But I love spending those hours with God, and it helps me to draw this line that okay, the mornings are holy gods, and I don't say that you should do that, and I don't say that it's the matter of willpower, but it helped me to decide that. So if I don't prepare my mind that this is what I'm going to do and this is what I don't let anything to get from me, so if I don't have this boundary, then it is quite likely that on the busy days I won't have time alone with God. And I do have quite a few busy days, especially in the summer when I travel a lot. So, and there are still days when I wake up late and I have very short or no time left before I have to depart. And if I do that for a few days, that I don't spend time in silence, I don't let God take me to the place of rest, then I realize that I'm not the same person. I act weird, I think weird, I feel like everything and everyone is a burden, and I feel like my mental state and mental health is highly dependent on how much I allow God to introduce the true me, the original me, to myself. there are so many Bible verses about that. Like Jesus says, "Come to me and I give you rest." Um, he wants us to enter this place of rest. He wants us to dwell in the secret place of the Most High and rest in the shadow of the Almighty. As it's like, I remember I was a teenager. This was the time when I got saved. And Andres Bisoni was preaching about who will come up to the mountain of the Lord and who will stay there. And I didn't really get it at this time, but now I really feel it, that okay, when I wake up, many times my mind is far away from God, like I don't even want to be with him, and I have to work through a lot of stupid thoughts, and after an hour I arrive to the place of rest. I finally give up. I finally stop controlling anything. I finally surrender. I finally start enjoying just being with him. And not long after that, I feel like, oh, I'm happy. I have less burdens. Okay, let's leave and do my things. And God is like, okay, I'm with you, but will you just stay? I would like to show you more of you and more of me. And so yeah, God is always present, but the question is, are we present? Because he's always there, but if you don't know that he's there, you can't enjoy that he's there, but he wants you to enjoy that he's there. So yeah, he's like calling and drawing us not closer, but not in a sense of like he's far away, but our minds can be far away. And our state of mind definitely have to come closer to God. And yeah, sometimes I come to God with questions like, okay, I really want to follow your will, and give me an answer, A or B or C, and I will do it. I will follow your will. I'm gonna do what you say you want me to do. And he's like, I don't really care. Okay, but why don't you care? But you love me. I know you care about my life. And finally, he made me understand that the way I want to change you, the way I want to show myself to you, is so much more important than what you choose and where you go, that it is almost of no importance comparing to what change I'm gonna bring in you. So just be with me, and if you still have this question, I can give you an answer. And actually, you can choose whatever you want. If you allow me to make that change in you, you can choose whatever you want, and it's gonna be awesome. So it's quite hard to like face that it is way more important to God what he wants to do in you than what he wants to do through you. So our questions like, what am I supposed to do you're supposed to stay in my stillness because I want to work on you. And there are guys like Thomas Merton or Brother Lawrence and all these like monks. They weren't into ministry building. They impacted a few people because they were only after letting God do in them what he pleases, and now those few people they impacted are changing the world. So um, you can never fully comprehend what it can change in this world when you let God change you. So the advancement of his kingdom happens first and foremost in you, not through you. I don't know whether you know that, whether you get what I mean. So sometimes I'm like, okay, should I do this? Should I do that? And God can give me amazing ideas, and he gives me those ideas because he loves ideas and he's very creative. And then and in the last season he has shown me a lot of ideas what I should do as a ministry, and now he's like, I don't really care any of those ideas. I want to be with you. I want you to enter my rest and stay there. And if you don't let me introduce myself to you and yourself, your true self to you, you will never know. And of course, one day we will know. But God wants us to have that one day, not after our deaths, but you can have that one day when you fully know who you are and who you are in Him. Any day. It can be on an ordinary morning that He fully introduces yourself to you, your true self. And this is what we all suffer from in this world. We don't know who we are. And when we stay in the silence and tranquility, He communicates and changes things way beyond our concepts and thoughts. Sometimes I talk about enjoying the nothing with God. And what I actually mean by that is that God keeps revisiting this topic, and He is checking out things on my list of what I need to experience or feel or think to be with God. And okay, I don't need experiences. Okay, I don't need feelings. I don't need good reactions to God. I don't need a prayer, don't need a worship. These were the first, of course. And okay, the first kind of communication is we learn how to talk with each other, and then like nonverbal communications, and then we can communicate through our thoughts. It happens among people and between God and man, and then we are like so happy, like, oh, we can communicate through thoughts. And then God is just like, oh yeah, but we can communicate way beyond that. And sometimes when I'm with God, I just feel like I don't even feel like having thoughts about Him. And first I was feeling bad about it. Like, I love those inspired thoughts of God. And it took me a while to understand that I don't really need to objectify Him. Like, He doesn't have to be another. He doesn't have to be person. I don't know whether you know what I mean. Like, he doesn't have to be that other one. He doesn't have to be someone who is who has a concept around him. He can be something that is everywhere and in you, and that's you. And so it's okay if you don't have any more worship songs. That's what I learned first. It's okay if you don't have any more prayers. It's okay if you don't have any more supernatural experiences. But it's also okay if you don't have any positive reactions and responses to God. It's also okay when you don't have thoughts about Him and He can communicate Himself even at times better beyond thoughts. There are things that He changes in you that you are not able to be aware of. Like, it's not something you can grasp. And there are times when nothing happens when I'm with God, and I get out of my bed and I just know I'm not the same. So usually when I wake up and my mind is all over the place, I just don't care. I just let all the thoughts rumble around my head, and it can take like an hour till it subsides. And when I can finally give up control, I just stay in this half asleep mode. I don't say that you should do that, but this is what works for me. And I stay there for as long as I can. And in that state, I don't even really have much thoughts of God. It's not like there is an other I love sometimes. So sometimes it's not, it sounds bad, but I can't really put it in any other way. But He ceases to be a person because I also cease to be a person. And it's just it. I just exist in Him. And this is where He can do the beyond thought kind of stuff to us. And I don't know. I cannot really articulate it, but there are things that can be revealed to you and can be communicated to you only in that place of total rest and abandonment. And it just doesn't make sense at the moment when it happens. Like, I'm literally half asleep and thinking about nothing. And God just feels like, okay, just stay there. You don't have to feel a loving thought. Many times I had this condemnation that, oh, I don't feel like worshiping, I don't feel like loving on you, I don't feel like this, I don't feel like praying, I don't feel like responding to you, I don't feel like thinking about you. And if I do those things for a long time, I can get tired of them. And I always felt terrible about it. Like, am I getting tired of God? Like, is it how twisted I am? And now I understand, or starting to understand, that yes, He intentionally leads me outside of thoughts, because He exists there as well. Sometimes more truly than in our thoughts. So yeah, these days I feel this drawing of God, like, I want you to come into my peace and stay there. And that's it. So I'm so excited to have this retreat season. I can't wait to have no obligations, just resting in Him. Many times when I spend time with God, it takes me hours till my mind starts to rest. So it's quite precious when my mind is at rest. Not because it's like, oh, God finally visited me, He's always there. But when my mind is also there, it's kind of special. And I'm starting to learn to appreciate that. Like, oh, my mind is in a good state, quite aware of you. Like, maybe I should like let you happen if I'm that aware of you. And it's not even about like time, more like about attention. The reason why I don't really like traveling all the time, because not because the time I don't travel that much time, but I prepare for it, I pack for it, I arrange things, I worry about them a little bit, and afterwards I need to digest all of that, and I'm hypersensitive. So I have this 10,000 times filter on everything, which is quite hard. It used to be terrible. I wanted to die. My whole teenage years was about like suicidal thoughts and all that because I couldn't bear it. Now I quite enjoy it because I enjoy things way more than other people, so it is kind of good. But anything that happens to me takes a lot of time to work through it mentally. So many times when I'm with God, it's just a divine therapy, it's just before I can enter His rest, I need to think through all days with Him and give those things to Him. And sometimes when we finally let go and surrender, we feel so great, we immediately leave. But this is where life happens, when you stay there. This is what it's all about. Like, you enter that rest and you stay there. You go up to that mountain of the Lord and you stand there. Yeah. Not many people go up that mountain, but way less people stay there. And this is what I have on my mind. Like, I want to give God time so that he can draw me in and keep me there. And if I don't give that time to enter the rest, I realized like I can't experience the mental health that I now think I own. And my personality starts to fall apart. And I think the most of the emotional health issues come from that. Like you don't enter the rest, you don't face all the things you have to work through, and you don't experience the letting go and the surrender and the enjoyment of just being. If you don't go through that, all those thoughts and emotions can accumulate and then manifest in a form of disease or mental illness or whatever. I'm not a scientist, but some science projects seem to prove that. So yeah, I'm very much curious about like what God is about to do to me. I'm so excited. And I don't expect something like a spectacular. I already had a few spectacular experiences of God. I'm so excited about like what he is making of me. What is going to happen to me, like to my personality, what I think I am, who I think I am. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, these are the things on my mind. So yeah, these are my plans for this fall, to spend some time with God and let him happen. It was interesting that now that I was moving and renovating the house and all that, and I had some crazy busy days. There were days when I was like literally just surviving. Like I didn't have that much time with God, and I just started to like keep on the work. That's it. And there were and if I've done that for few days that I didn't enter the rest, just accumulating things, I started to fall apart and it started to be irritated and all that. And I was like surprised at myself, like, you are acting weird. And there were days when I was just like aware of God in spite of and in the middle of all the busyness. Like I was cleaning and doing stuff with my hands, but my mind was wholly on God and enjoying him. And I every now and then I just looked at him and expressed love each other with each other, and it was like, yeah, it was like dating the whole day. While my hands were busy with some work. So there were days like that. I'm not an expert on that. Like I most of the time I need silence to enter rest, but he's always here, so it's not about what you do and what you don't do. Yeah, so it was great to experience that freedom, that I could do things and still enjoy him. And and on other days I was like totally not aware of him if I didn't have the silent time. um, and I think how I experience it right now, and maybe it changes within a weeks, in a few weeks, but if I enter this state of rest every day, even if my mind starts to worry about things or gets upset, mm, it still doesn't go that far away from the presence of God if I enter this perfect letting go of control every day. This is how I experience it. And if I don't allow him to take me to this place for a couple of days, I can act and think very weird. So it was great to realize how dependent I am on experiencing him. Um, and I have this unexpressible like calling. This is my first calling to be with him, like as a nun or monk. I'm very much inspired by them. The other thing I experience is I don't really need like sessions and worship sets and sermons to be with God. Many times I feel like they are hindering me. So this summer I went to some of my favorite camps and places that really helped me in my teenage years and all that. And now I was like, why are these people talking? I don't need that. Why are they worshiping that loud? Can we just shut up for a time? Can we just watch the sunset, watch the grass or the blue sky with those fluffy clouds, or can we just listen to the crickets or something very basic? So I don't really need those things like events. I'm really not into events these times. And there were times when I was like experiencing God only at events or mostly at events. And now I'm like, oh, I don't need that. And I don't say that this is the goal. I say that there are seasons uh, when things help, and the very same things are not helpful at other seasons, and it's okay. It's not because you are falling away from God. This is what I thought, like, oh, I don't even love worshiping that much. What's wrong with me? And now I just know that maybe my relationship with God is getting more simple, and it's a good thing. And maybe in the next season I start to enjoy events again for another reason, because God leads me into that. So you don't have to judge yourself either. Yeah, this is my other experience. So I really wish that we all answer the call of Jesus. Come to me and I give you rest. And we answer to the call of the Father, who will come up to the mountain of the Lord and who will stand in his holy place. Yeah. And you can pray for me that I may be given the grace to respond to this call in this next season. God bless you. Love you.